Good day, my brothers and sisters. My name is Geoffrey Honneus, and I am the author of The Light of India. And I pray that you will find this one book dear to your heart, as it has the potential power to provide you with all the knowledge necessary to become one with the cosmic energy of the universe. Its spiritual integrity stands on 4 pillars. The first pillar is called The Science of Man, and it introduces the basis of the book in just 40 pages. The second pillar is entitled Major Types of Yoga, which briefly describes the 14 categories of yoga science, the goal of which is to yoke oneself with the Spirit of God, or cosmic consciousness, by control of the ever-changing thought impressions of the mind, which are primarily frivolous thoughts. The third pillar is entitled Sources of the Ancient Wisdom. It lays out the origin of the most ancient spiritual science known to man, which began in India, the motherland, the land of the great-grandfather of all religions, predating Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam. Buddhism could be considered the grandfather of religions, Christianity the father, and Islam the son. Yet all religions teach the same one truth, and that is you must give up your attachment to endless worldly desires in order to make God first and foremost in your life. Before the development of written language, the holy science of uniting oneself with cosmic consciousness was passed orally from master to disciple. The first ancient secrets were put in writing in the language of Sanskrit, one of the root languages of all Indo-European tongues. Sanskrit has 50 letters in its alphabet with no vowels. Each letter has a fixed pronunciation, so word sounds cannot change from ancient times to today. Therefore, unlike with other languages, teachings have been kept in their purest form in Sanskrit. The first sources of the ancient wisdom are from the oldest spiritual books in the world, written in Sanskrit. From these and the teachings of other spiritual masters, I have selected 13 sources of the knowledge of yoga science. The first of these is the Ramayana, the oldest known spiritual epic poem in the world, written in Sanskrit. It is the story of the life of Avatar Rama, whose righteousness set the standard of moral excellence for all mankind. And second are the Upanishads, also written in Sanskrit, of which 108 have survived. However, a spiritual master by the name of Shankara chose 10 among the 108, upon which to base his written commentaries, and to this day these 10 have been accepted as the primary Upanishads by all great holy men, religious teachers, and spiritual masters of India. The Upanishads are the earliest testament of the victory of man over himself. They document the underlying unity of all creation, culminating in the discovery of the truth that sets man free. The third source of the ancient wisdom is the Bhagavad-Gita, the Gospel of Hinduism, written in Sanskrit, based upon the teachings of Lord Krishna, who lived about 3100 BC. He set forth the way to union with God through the various paths of yoga, each of which lead to the same one goal. Fourth is the Srimad Bhagavatam, the wisdom of God. Fifth is the Dhammapada, the sayings of Buddha, who lived in northern India, today Nepal. Sixth is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the first man to put yoga into an organized form. Seventh is Shankara's crest jewel of discrimination. Eighth is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and the sayings of Sri Ramakrishna, the 19th century Christ-like soul of India. Ninth is the collected works of Ramana Maharshi. 10th is the discourses of Meher Baba, Compassionate Father. 11th is the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, who journeyed to America in 1920 and spent 30 years living in the Western world, primarily California. 12th is Swami Prabhavananda, who arrived in the United States in 1923 and in 1930 established the Vedanta Society of Southern California. He translated the Upanishads and the Bhagavad-Gita into English and wrote many other books, including The Spiritual Heritage of India, The Sermon on the Mount According to Vedanta, and Vedic Religion and Philosophy, from which I have chosen several passages to include in The Light of India. The 13th and last are the teachings of Satya Sai Baba, primarily from the first 7 volumes of his discourses. These sources of the ancient wisdom are explored in the first 127 pages of The Light of India. They are further expanded upon in the 4th pillar, which is the Encyclopedia of Spiritual Truth, divided into 64 topics, any of which you may read at your leisure. Within it, the 13 sources of yoga science share their wisdom. The mind is an instrument, and how an individual plays the mind has everything to do with 2 fields of opposites, the desire for worldly pleasure and its opposite, seeking the answer to the meaning of life. No matter what your religion or belief may be, believe in God or not, The knowledge enclosed in this book will bring every single person to a new awareness of the true meaning of their life, the depth of which is beyond what one could imagine. The truth is, only the mind is real. The ego and the senses are just instruments of the mind, which reach out for worldly pleasure, the passing fancy of fame and fortune. You should recognize one truth, and that is that the pairs of cosmic opposites of pleasure and pain, loss and gain, fame and shame are all the same. They are only cosmic illusions. They come together, and they also disappear together once worldly desires are cast off. This book, The Light of India, may be one of the most enlightening books you have ever read. I welcome you to be my guest. Examine it for yourself, and please let me know how this book has changed your outlook on life. Bless yourself, and goodbye for now.